Okay, let's talk. God, why is this a thing? Oh my God. Oh God, this season sucked. Earthrise is terrible. And it's all because of episode 6. It's all because of that magical 6th episode. Oh my God. Okay, let's talk. Oh my God. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. All right, so if you saw my previous video just before this one, you'll know I actually kind of liked Siege. There were some problems here and there, more specifically with some of the voices. Primarily Shockwave, Soundwave, and Optimus. Optimus wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's only when he tries to do the Peter Cullen monologues that kills the whole thing. It sounds super duper forced, but when he's doing, the casual, just regular dialogue, he actually is pretty passable, so he gets a point from there. Megatron is pretty decent too. He kind of gets better with Earthrise. Siege, it's okay. But God above... Dude, Earthrise is the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker of this series, and it's all crammed into 6 episodes. Like, it's not like, this was just kind of like Last Jedi, and then, like, when Kingdom comes out in May, that'll be the Rise of Skywalker. No, this was all of this was both of those combined. It was horrible. So, in Siege, they set up Jetfire going turncoat and joining the Autobots. And at the end, they set up the whole, group with Elita, and I guess Chromia, and Jetfire, and a few other characters like Red Alert, staying behind to take on Shockwave and the Decepticon regime that's still there, while Megatron leaves to hunt down Optimus at the start of Earthrise. And then Earthrise, spends the entire season showing this small group of Autobots saving these Decepticon prisoners who are being harvested to fuel this, the Nemesis. So Megatron can take flight and go after Prime. And it's revealed later on that Shockwave also had another little side project of his, using their sparks to fuel himself, make himself stronger, and develop cloaking technology, which, had the show not killed him, he would have eventually, I guess, become... he would have tried to thwart Megatron and take over. But thanks to the magical episode 6, that is not going to happen. God above. So I'm just going to cut straight to the point for this particular part of the rant. I'll do all the minor stuff later, but this was the biggest problem I had. So at the end of episode 5, I think, or at the beginning of episode 6, Shockwave captures Elita. And we find out that he has cloaking tech, and that he's given it to the other Decepticons that he has under his command. And they psych you out. They kill Chromia. Ooh. When it turns out that for no frickin' reason, one of the Decepticons just decides to help her and intentionally misses her spark so she can get up and save the rest of them. And how does she thank him? She freaking blows his head off. Why not? Why not? Totally go against what Prime would do and just be a full-on Decepticon. Why don't you? Just kill him in cold blood. Sure, go ahead. Autobots, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. And then Elita breaks out and does a pretty cool maneuver of tricking Shockwave into thinking that the Guardians have taken a side, which they haven't, unbeknownst to him, and gets him to decloak so that way she can attack him. And it turns out that the whole Coliseum has been rigged to blow. And how does that wonderful plot point end? Well, it seems like our heroes are just about to escape and have a heroic moment when they're all dead. They all frickin' die. Just killed off. Just gone. They didn't matter, apparently. They're just not like everyone liked them. It's not like there was more you could do with their story. Nope, just throw them away. Why don't you? We need more toys. We need new toys. They must buy them. The fans, they won't be able to resist shiny new toys. We must make room for more. Oh my God! There's so. And the thing is it was the most pathetically foreshadowed bit of the whole thing, with Megatron saying, "She is dead now." Optimus almost kills him, and she's still very much alive when he says this, but no, now she's dead. I guess Megatron also gets visions of the future without the Matrix. I guess Galvatron gave him that power. Oh my god. It makes no sense. And then don't get me started on the Quintessons. They ruined the Quintessons. Like, oh my, I have never imagined Quintessons being as underwhelming as they were here. We get one Quintesson with all 5 faces, and they tease that one of the faces was responsible for giving the Transformers their free will against, what all the other 4 faces didn't approve. But then, 3 of the other 4 are starting to agree with the one, and so the one odd one out decides, screw it, I'll kill everyone, and just cuts their faces off after one scene. Like, we literally get one scene with all 5 faces teasing this freaking, hive mind isn't quite so unified, and they just throw that plot point away literally the very next scene. That's it. It's completely wasted. God. And then the whole thing of Galvatron just popping up right out of nowhere, like no introduction. At least Skylinks, he got an introduction and a proper finish. Galvatron, he just shows up the very next scene like like there was a scene missing of him showing up. Like he just shows up out of nowhere. It literally goes from Megatron entering the nebula, and then the very next scene is like, "Who are you? I am you." I know that's not an exact quote, but what the heck? And don't get me wrong, the whole Unicron cameo, that was actually really good. And the implication is that Galvatron is trying to, like, this Galvatron is from the 1986 film, and he's trying to go back to an alternate timeline to keep from being enslaved by Unicron, by his own bloodthirsty decisions. So that was cool, and I know why. And under that plot point, it makes sense why he'd want the Matrix, so that way they can kill Optimus, and it doesn't pass to someone else, and it doesn't lead to then Megatron becoming Galvatron. But the only reason at that point in the story, it's like, at that point, the only reason they have Megatron take the Matrix is so he can learn his real name, Orion. It's the only reason they have it now. There is literally no other reason for Megatron to have taken the Matrix other than Orion. That's it. That's the only reason he could have taken it at that point, because the whole Galvatron thing is not going to happen, because guess what? We're landing on Earth, which now we're going to have a, Gary Chalk and David K-less Beast Wars, which is going to freaking suck and be boring. Oh my God. God, and don't get me started on Cog. God. I thought we were free from the whole thing of dumb Autobots keeping Prime from ending it all. So Optimus goes to kill Megatron, and then Cog is like, "No, Optimus, what are you doing?" What does it look like? What does it look like, Cog? I am ending the war. Would you mind pissing off for about 5 other seconds so I can shoot him? Nope. Okay, well, I guess it's time for, for the plot to kick back in. Here, okay, so for pluses, I liked the start with Megatron talking to Magnus's head, and then the next time we get that where he says, "Don't look at me like that." I didn't mind that. That was actually really good. I liked the 2 conversations between Megatron and Optimus, where they kind of hash out their ideals. Scorponok was a pretty surprising addition that I wasn't expecting. Starscream getting his crap kicked in twice was very pleasing. Megatron shooting him right in the face down that pit, and then beating the absolute crap out of him when he gets back on the bridge. That was just peak Transformers. I loved that. The Skylink story was actually really good. It sucks that he didn't actually get to go with them. We never got to see him, do anything else. A big complaint I have about this series as a whole so far is we never really get to see the relationship Magnus, Optimus, and Megatron had with Alpha Trion, except for what we hear from word of mouth throughout the whole frickin' thing. It's a little underwhelming. And another really big problem is that it feels like Siege was set up for Earthrise, and that Earthrise was set up for Kingdom. It doesn't feel like they're trying to tell a cohesive story with each season. It feels more like that the first two seasons are just a foundation so they can get to the season they really want to do, instead of making each season able to be watched without having to watch the other one. Or at least having one cohesive narrative, instead of just dumping characters over the side just so they can have room for a new cast, instead of fleshing these characters out, giving them proper stories, and then letting them go a little bit at a time. No, we'll just build them up and then break them all down in one go, and then build the next batch and break them all down in one go, and then I guarantee you next season, we're going to build all these new characters up and then break them all down. It's a waste. This whole thing feels like a waste of my time, and I binged this all 6 episodes in about a day and a half. It was, oh my god. This is just disappointing. Earthrise gets a 4 out of 10, maybe a 3.5. It is just super, super disappointing. God above. It is just the most disappointing thing since the last night for Transformers. It is just so underwhelming. I'd rather watch The Last Night than watch this again, because at least The Last Night is garbage from beginning to end. Earthrise was good all the way up until that last episode where they just shoehorned in all these deaths just so we could hurry up and get to, Earth. Oh my god. I may do another video soon with a friend of mine after he watches it eventually, and we'll have a more casual conversation. He'll bring up stuff that I haven't brought up here, but this is just my unscripted just ramblings of why this season sucked. Oh my god. Seriously, why introduce these characters if you're just gonna kill them off like they were nothing? Like Shockwave, Elite, they're all dead. Everyone that was around that freaking arena is dead. So they just threw Shockwave, a fan favorite, away like he was nothing. Jetfire, like, he got freaking, finned from the Star Wars trilogy. He had this really interesting arc in the first film, and then in, 8 and 9, and then here with Earthrise, he just gets turned into a background character that doesn't get any more real development. He's just kind of there for the ride, instead of actually contributing to the story. It's like, oh my god. You know what it is? To sum up this whole thing, it feels like Siege is Luke's lightsaber and Earthrise is Luke. And Earthrise just threw Siege over its shoulder like Siege, didn't matter. None of the characters there mattered. Just a few plot points here and there mattered. It's freaking ridiculous. I'm just gonna stop here because I'm starting to get a headache. Oh my god, I freaking hate this. And I'm gonna watch Kingdom because I've already committed to it. But at least I've got a few months to go before that happens, so I can, brace myself. God, I may just, hope to God I have some alcohol on hand to deal with that mess. I'm gonna go and do something more productive with my time, than go and dwell on this garbage piece of crap, this dumpster fire of a show. Oh god, if this is how this is turning out so far, I can't wait to see how bad Kingdom's gonna be. Oh my god. Just bye. Peace. I'm out here till all are one. Piss on this show.